Simon here at WrestleCon with the one and only Scotty Too Hotty. How are you doing, my friend?
Well, I'm just lukewarm these days, but you can call me Scotty Too Hotty. Okay. Yeah, I prefer lukewarm.
Okay, Luke. Yeah. How do I do it? Scotty Too lukewarm?
No, just lukewarm. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Start again. Hi, Simon from WhatCulture here with lukewarm. How are you doing, Mr. Warm?
No, it's Scotty Too Hotty.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Should I just leave? I just leave you with the microphone?
No, you don't want to do that. See, I had a partner who did all of the talking, which made me really bad at talking. So my promos are horrible. So
is that really a thing that happened? Just like, I assume you're talking about Brian Christopher, right? Did he just steal the mic away constantly?
He didn't steal it, but he had spent so much time like coming up in Memphis, right. And his dad was, of course, who his dad was, and he was so good that Brian spent a lot more time cutting promos than I had. Yeah. We got together, we were in our early 20s, so I already wasn't very good at my promos. Then he was so good, which made it intimidating. So most of the time, he would just take over. But honestly, now I enjoy doing it, and I speak more from the heart, and don't worry so much about a character. That's something I struggled with, honestly, and I say that all the time with the Scotty Too Hotty character, was trying to be a good guy and be likable. Like, how does that character talk? And then, because at the time, it was like, that character would have been like, yo, 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 yo. And I was like, that's the guy I want to punch straight in the Adam's apple, So it was hard to be likable. So I never really figured it out. So look at this lady right here, but I haven't seen forever. But this thing is very overwhelming at times, because I've been in that WWE bubble for the last 7 years. So to see some of these people, it's been like, 10 years since I've seen some of them. So it's really fun doing this stuff.
You must be loving it, though, obviously, because we don't need to go into it. You've told your story about NXT and coming out the other side. Yeah. Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, I guess my question is, did you think you were going to be in NXT for life when your wrestling stuff was done?
No, I don't think anybody who ever goes to any company, not just WWE, but any company in 2022 can go, I'm going to be there for life. Whether it's AT&T or Tesco.
He's just in the UK, he knows.
Or Target if you're in the US. But no, I never took that for granted, and it's a business, it's a machine, and when one cog breaks, they take that cog out and they replace it. So I never, I'm very thankful for my time there. If it wasn't for my time there, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be. We talked about before we started being at TNT in the UK and be able to do 12 days in a row just in the UK. So I'm thankful for my time there, but it was time to go. And dude, I'm having a blast being out here. So much fun. I keep saying, it's not the most profitable time of my career. It's not the busiest time of my career, but it's the most special time of my career, because in the 6 years since I left the independent scene, people have gotten older. So I'm meeting 35-year-old men with kids of their own who, when Too Cool and Rikishi was a thing in 2000, were little boys. So it's a very, very cool dynamic, and it's very, very emotional at times, to be honest with you.
I was going to say, it must be quite life-affirming, because if you can do anything in 99, 2000, 2001, fast forward 20 years, and you have this, wrestling comeback tour, whatever you want to call it, and you can go to the UK and people respond to you. Before we interview, people responding to you. How do you even process that?
It's overwhelming. I keep saying this, I don't know if it's my age, if I'm just getting older, or I've literally broke down and cried multiple times, even on that UK tour, telling stories about my NXT talent, or talking, just seeing passion, being in Dublin with Session with Martina and seeing, just standing in the corner and watching her do her thing, and there's so much passion behind it, and that's what I was missing at the end of my time with NXT, was just feeling what I fell in love with. Yeah. So to be able to do that again, be back out here, see that, be a part of that, and then meet these grown men who are little boys when I was at the peak of my career, is just so overwhelmingly awesome. So I say this is definitely the most special part of my career.
Do you think I can't think of a better term, but do you think you've also become when you go to these promotions, you become like a father figure or a coach, because they know the experience you have, but you've also proven at the very top you can impart wisdom and skills and everything like that?
Yeah, well, that's what I tell them. I start my seminars by asking, who's the youngest person here? Yeah. Usually it's 16, 17, 18 years old. I go, okay, I was 15. I grew up in a state, I grew up in Maine. There wasn't a wrestling school for within 200 miles, basically. There wasn't another wrestler in the state. Like I said, I was 15, I was 150 pounds. I had everybody telling me, you're too small, you're too young, you're too whatever. And I did it. I went all the way to as high as you can go. You know, the WWE, WrestleMania, whatever you want to call that peak, the Royal Rumble, having Madison Square Garden on their feet, like had all of these very cool moments that I think when you get in this, that's what you strive for. So if I can do it, that kid from Maine, 15-year-old, 150-pound kid from Maine, who was never properly trained, anybody can do this, you know? So it's just been so awesome, man. So awesome. And I'm so thankful. And no regrets on my decision to leave and come back out here and just having a blast. And look down here, like I see Matt Cardona now. Like, he was a huge inspiration for me to leave. Like, I saw him, what he was doing out on the independent scene, having fun with it. You know, I saw the guys over at AEW having fun outside. Like, I was like, okay, there's still fun here and there's still passion here. So I want to go back. I want to be a part of that, you know?
And you mentioned it there. I mean, the stereotypical line is land of the giants, but you were able to find your way through. So when you look at wrestling now and the landscape, does it kind of blow your brain? Because, dude, I've met wrestlers who are on television. They're smaller than you, man. You're a big guy compared to them.
Yeah, it's funny. It changed over time. I remember walking into the WWF locker room for the first time in 1991, and when I was a kid, I thought, I'm about the same size as Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. And the very first person I saw when I walked in the door was Marty Jannetty. And then I saw Shawn later, and I was like, you know, this was like, you know, Shawn's smaller now, but at the time, he was probably 225 and, 6'1", 6'2". They weren't small guys, but, you know, next to the Warlord, Barbarian, you know, Crush, those guys, they were small guys. And, but, you know, thankfully it changed. And I credit Shawn Michaels a lot. And Bret Hart too. You know, they weren't small guys, but they were smaller guys compared to the Hogan era. And then, you know, you had 1-2-3 Kid come along, who I don't feel like gets enough credit for opening that doors for smaller guys like us. You know, so it's definitely. I was a smaller guy, then I come back out on the independents, and I'm a giant sometimes.
You're just a guy now, man. You lost your gimmick. Now, I assume you've wrestled everyone. But one last generic question, because I'm massively intrigued for someone that has your history, I suppose. You can pick one person out there right now. Who do you go after?
I don't know if there's one person. I mean, the one person that I never really did anything with that I wish I had was Hogan. Anything with Hogan. I mean, I was in the locker room with him, but I never worked with him. Flair, I never worked with, but I remember we traded punches on a bit brawl. I was like, okay, that's good enough for me. Worked with Flair. Did that with Flair. Now, though, the cool thing for me is to wrestle the guys that went through NXT that I coached. Because I never in a million years thought I would be wrestling these guys, you know, in Dallas, Texas. You know, I wrestled Rich Swann yesterday morning. We had a blast. It was so fun. We danced, we wrestled. The crowd was having a fun time, you know. And then I saw Killian Dane the night before, and Wesley Blake, and I see Steve Cutler, like all these guys that I trained with. No intention to ever wrestle them. I have that opportunity to do that now. And if you want to take it to another level, if I was able to do anything with a Cole or a Riley Fish, you know, Tommaso or a Gargano, all these guys that are out there that I could literally do something with now, it'd be so cool.
Do you ever when you're in the middle of the match, start coaching them? No, you did that wrong. You got to start doing this.
No. So the thing is, dude, I look at this as art. I said the only right way to do this is the way is when you can make somebody pay money to walk through that door and see you do whatever you do. Other than that, dude, this is pro wrestling. And I always say this, I go I love this. I've done it since I was a kid. I respect it. I respect those that came before me. But this is pretty silly stuff. We put baby oil on. We put spandex on. Some of us put makeup on. Yep. You know, we do these moves. We shoot them 20 feet across the ring. And, you know, we do the worm. We do suplexes where the bodies just go into rigor mortis and they stay up there. It's pretty silly stuff. So, I don't like to over-critique. You know, if anything, I say, slow down, save your bodies, you know, slow down, listen to the audience. What does the audience want? That's what we're here for. Not for us to entertain ourselves. We want to entertain the fans. So stop and listen to them. That's a big part of the art of this, you know. And save your bodies. I'm a guy with a 3 screws and a steel plate in my neck, and I didn't do a whole lot, you know. Now I see guys diving off balconies and stuff and I understand. I went down the same road. You're trying to get noticed. Trying to create a following. And sometimes you do what you got to do to make that happen. But there's life after this, you know. And as I get older, I realize there is life after this. What am I going to do? And how am I going to be? And physically, because sometimes you see the old timers and they can barely walk, and you know, I remember like Kowalski and those guys used to come around and like they didn't barely leave their feet, and they can't walk now. Like, so I am screwed, you know. So
you're doing fine, man. You're doing fine.
Yeah. No.
Right, it's my man Scotty Too Hotty. Sorry, lukewarm. Whatever we're calling it.
Just lukewarm. I don't turn to Scotty Too Hotty like after 5 p.m. at night, so right. I'm just lukewarm for the rest of the day.
I'm amazed in the however many years of wrestling. There's got to have been a lukewarm, surely.
I'm gonna go trademark it right now. Hold on.
Do it. I'll buy your T-shirt 100%. Scotty Too Hotty / lukewarm. Very nice guy. Like, share, subscribe. Goodbye.